What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again for a new Halloween ranking video.
Hey Nancy, wanna play?
Because it's Halloween, I did a ranking for the Halloween franchise because of Halloween 2018. And so I figured I would do a ranking for a horror franchise that I've seen all the movies leading this year, and that is Nightmare on Elm Street. That is right, guys. I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 9 Nightmare on Elm Street movies from worst to best. Now, before Freddy Krueger comes to haunt my nightmare, I want you guys to let me know your rankings of all 9 Nightmare on Elm Street movies down in the comment section below. Tell me your thoughts on my list. I'll let you know my thoughts on your list. Again, guys, this is all subjective. Film is subjective. These are my opinions on these films. And just please respect that down below in the comments. So without further ado, let's get started. Coming in at number 9 is Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare. Ugh, this movie is so awful. Oh my god. Freddys Dead, The Final Nightmare is a nightmare to sit through. This movie was awful from start to finish. Rachel Talala should be disgraced of how bad the film was, and Robert Englund himself should be ashamed that he was a part of this movie. This movie is laughably bad. The whole entire movie is Freddy coming back. Of course he's back because it's Freddy Krueger. It's him laughing for 95% of the movie going, ha 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 ha, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul too. The dialogue in this movie is atrocious. All the characters in this movie are really bad. They're not memorable. You have the introduction to Freddy Krueger's daughter in the film. Then she becomes a final girl. It's really bad. The last 10 minutes of this movie, the special effects look atrocious. When Freddy does die, his face turns into a horrible 3D graphic effect. They were trying to promote the 3D back in the day. I hated this movie. This movie's bad. Freddys Dead, of course, is the worst Nightmare movie. And coming in at number 8 is going to be the Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010. Again, it's just a total snooze fest. Why in the hell did they remake this movie the way they did? This movie is just a plain copy and paste of the original, but does it in the blandest, horrible, forgettable way possible. This movie was so bad that Rooney Mara herself played Nancy, and she almost quit acting because of how bad this movie was. The only saving grace and why I put it above Freddys Dead is because of Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy Krueger. A lot of people hate on him. I disagree. I thought he was a pretty good Freddy. He's no Robert Englund. He didn't copy Robert Englund at all. He brought his own flavor to the character. He's pretty menacing, and I enjoyed him. But other than that, the rest of the movie's shit. The deaths are horrible, they're predictable, and they're just forgettable. Nightmare on Elm Street remake from 2010 was totally unnecessary and forgettable. Coming in at number 7 is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. The Dream Child. This movie is so WTF. It introduces the storyline to Freddy's mom. That's the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie. And then it goes into the main character, forgot her name, but she has a baby. And they introduce the side plot to her son trying to fight Freddy and all that. And the ending is really ridiculous. Again, the special effects look terrible. And the fighting action scenes look really laughable. Again, the movie is forgettable. I don't remember much about it since I've seen it once. Other than that, I would say there are some awesome deaths in the film. Other than that, this movie is just forgettable. It's not good at all. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddys Revenge. Now, this is a very divisive film in the franchise. People love this film, find it underrated, and some people hate it like I do. I don't like this movie at all. The first 5 minutes, though, were pretty great. I like the opening to the film with the bus and all that. Freddy Krueger driving the bus and invading Jesse's nightmares. I was really enjoying the first 5 minutes. Other than that, it gets to a really bad movie. Jesse as the main character. This guy was just bland. And people say this is the gayest horror movie ever made, and I agree. It really does feel that way. There's this love story that goes on with Jesse and the girl. Again, don't remember her name. The movie does make a really stupid decision with bringing Freddy into the real world, where he's killing a bunch of people. Freddy does feel menacing, but not as menacing as the first one. A lot of the deaths were pretty cool, but the story was just pretty bland, and Freddy Krueger could have been more menacing. Okay, now we're getting into the top 5. Coming in at number 5 is Freddy vs. Jason. This is the crossover with Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. This felt more like a Friday the 13th movie more than a Nightmare on Elm Street film. Freddy's barely in the damn movie, and Freddy doesn't really kill anybody in the film, and Jason was the one doing all the dirty work. There's a scene where these really drunk college kids, one of them's head gets turned around and Jason's just like, boop. That was definitely my favorite death. The final showdown with Freddy and Jason was pretty entertaining. I was enjoying it a lot. I wanted that. Like, the whole entire movie is these teenagers trying to plan out how to kill Jason and Freddy, where the title of the movie is Freddy vs. Jason. Just like Batman v Superman, we didn't get into that until 2 hours into the film. Other than that, it's a pretty forgettable 2000s horror film with some awesome kills, but I wanted more of that. Coming in number 4 is Nightmare on Elm Street 4: The Dream Master. This wasn't terrible, it's okay. I enjoyed this movie. There's some of the characters in here were pretty cool. I really like the deaths in this one. There's a scene where this girl eats a bunch of food and then she freaking blows up. It's pretty awesome. It has a pretty cool final girl as well. She was whooping Freddy's ass in the final act. It's pretty forgettable in some certain scenes. There's a movie theater death, which was pretty cool. And Freddy in this one turns into the jokester Freddy. And that was my biggest issue. Robert Englund was just milking it in for the humor. The humor really falls flat. The kills were awesome. It wasn't terrible. I was enjoying some of the characters and some of the story elements. It could have been so much better than what it was, though. Alright, finally. Now we're getting to the good to great Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Here we go. Coming in number 3 is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This was a great Nightmare on Elm Street film. Very original, very creative by Wes Craven. The whole movie is basically, what if Freddy Krueger existed in the real world and we weren't dreaming about him? What if Freddy was real? And instead of Nancy, we got Heather Langenkamp as Heather Langenkamp. We got Wes Craven as Wes Craven and Robert Englund as Robert Englund. And Freddy Krueger as well shows up. This was an awesome idea. A very original idea. A lot of the kills in this one were pretty awesome. And Heather himself, Nancy, was awesome. And the final was so good. It's like the Halloween H2O for the franchise. This should have been the awesome conclusion to the franchise. Then we got Freddy vs. Jason in the remake, those spin-offs. But this was the perfect end to Nancy, Heather Langenkamp. It was awesome. I was enjoying it. It is not perfect, though. I think some of the story elements could have been better, like her friend as she dies really easily. I wanted more of that. The movie does take place in a hospital for the final act. I really wasn't caring about. And the little kid as well was given some cliche performance acts. Other than that, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, it is a good Nightmare on Elm Street film. Just not my favorite. Number 2 is Nightmare on Elm Street 3: Dream Warriors. Yes, this was an awesome Nightmare sequel. Dream Warriors was awesome. I love this film. All the characters are great. This brought back Nancy in the perfect way possible. Like, it takes place at this mental hospital. All these kids are having nightmares with Freddy. The doctors think they're crazy. Lawrence Fishburne's in it. Patricia Arquette is also in it. All the characters are great. Going into the dream world, having your own action character, just fighting Freddy was great. Nancy does die at the end, though, which was pretty shocking, but overall, I really love Dream Warriors. They also brought back Nancy's dad, which was cool. Yeah, this is an awesome movie. I love Dream Warriors, but it's not the best. And my number 1 favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film is the original, Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street in 1984. This is one of the best horror films ever made. One of the most scariest characters in Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund. He is terrifying in this film. Freddy invading these people's nightmares is insane. The way they open up the film, they make you think Tia, she is the main character, but she dies. And Johnny Depp, this was his first movie. Johnny Depp's first movie, he dies as well. Who's the final girl? It's Nancy Thompson. She is the final girl, and Nancy is the best final girl in the series. One of the best final girls. Nancy's awesome. I love her and Freddy showdown at the end, and Nancy whoops Freddy's ass at the end. It's awesome, great, love all the deaths. Johnny Depp's death is the most iconic, and the opening one with the girl flying on top of the roof and all that is awesome. And it's great. This movie's fantastic. I love Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. It's hands down the best Nightmare on Elm Street film. There you have it, guys. That is my ranking for all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. So in the comment section below, what were your thoughts on my list and what are your lists down below? Let's have a great discussion. Thank you guys as always for watching this ranking. And if you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe today for more content. All my social media links are in the description down below. Click that notification bell on your way out,
And I will see you in the next video. Ha 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 ha.